Sustainability is based on a simple principle. Everything we need for our survival and well-being depends, either directly or indirectly, on our natural environment. Sustainability creates and maintains the conditions under which humans and nature can exist in productive harmony that permit fulfilling the social, economic, and other requirements of present and future generations. Sustainability is important to making sure that we have and will have the water, materials, and resources to protect human health and our environment for generations to come. Before moving on to the next section, please think of one thing you recently purchased. Think about where that thing was made. How was it made? Of what materials was it made? Every single thing we do has an environmental impact. Perhaps you said a phone. What is your phone made of? Will those materials always be available? Will inexpensive electricity always be available? How can we feed a growing population without eroding and degrading the soil? These are big questions, and the first step to answering them is to understand how sustainability works. Sustainability has three parts: social, environmental, and economic. They all influence one another in complex ways. Take a look at the picture on the right. It shows water stress, which means that more water is being removed from the ground than is being put back in by precipitation. The farming Great Plains of the U.S. and the desert Southwest have a very high level of water stress. Notice the red and the brown here, South America here, large portions of Africa, Saudi Arabia, and Eastern Europe, or mostly actually the Soviet Union. Did you use city water today? Well, water? How much did you use? Ask yourself how you could use less tomorrow. Throughout most of human history, people have been hunter-gatherers. They would hunt for meat and gather fruits, vegetables, and starches. Populations remained low and people lived in small clans. Survival was difficult, so they developed many uses for the resources they had. Natural medicines were found and used. These people were very in tune with the environment. As technology progressed, things began to change. The first major shift happened when people began to herd animals and farm. Community and clans could suddenly remain in one place and not have to constantly be on the move. Civilization began to develop. The people in the highlighted areas, right, as well as many people in the Americas, began to manipulate the environment or change on a large scale to fit their needs. Populations began to grow because it was easier to live. Humans began to construct simple machines, melt metals, and do blacksmith work. The wheel was invented. Buildings were built by figuring out how to make concrete and other types of bricks. The Chinese invented paper and gunpowder from natural materials. Early plumbing was developed, moving waste away from towns and putting it somewhere else. Eventually, it was discovered that fossil fuels like coal could be burned for energy. The steam engine was developed. In this lab, we're going to explore how human decision-making has influenced the ways we have used resources. We're going to explore this by playing the fish game. A picture of the fish game is on the right. The link is further down in this section. The rules: you have 10 days to catch as many fish as you can. The money you make from these fish will need to support your family for the next month. Each fish nets $2. Each day, you'll choose whether you want to take none, 1, 2, or 3 fish for the day. There are 2 other fisher folk out there catching similar numbers of fish. At the end of each day, trial situation, record your data in the table. But remember, the lake in which you are fishing can only support 20 fish. That is, the carrying capacity of the lake. Every night, the fish that remain after a day of fishing will reproduce at a rate of 25%. However, the total number of fish can't exceed 20. For instance, if there are 12 fish, they will multiply to 15 overnight. If there are 19, they'll multiply to 20. Remember, 20 is the carrying capacity. Once you completed your data table or been shown a table, you're going to go on and answer some questions in the lab report. For the second part of the lab, you'll be doing a little bit of internet research. You'll choose one resource from the list provided, or you can choose your own resource, and find answers to the questions. When searching on a resource's history, please keep a few things in mind. Use reliable information. How has the resource influenced human activity? How long have you been using it? Is there a history of overusing the resource? And what is one problem caused by overuse of the resource? Now that you've read the 401 lab instructions, you may go to 407 and download the assignment, or I'll provide it with you for you.